person that seemed the most at jeopardy was the doctor, because he supposedly wrote a prescription to someone else who then gave it to Prince. And under DEA guidelines and state law, you have to write a prescription for the person who's actually going to be receiving it.
It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist.
One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?" No. I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil," right? It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but...
Allegedly, a lawyer has dropped a bombshell revelation about two of the biggest names in the music industry, Jay-Z and Clive Davis.
But somebody laced these counterfeit drugs with fentanyl. Somebody sold them. Somebody bought them. These are questions that even after 2 years, are we any closer to answers? Not really.
According to reports, this insider claims to know exactly how these powerhouses might have pocketed serious profits from the death of the legendary Prince.
His boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
But with an untimely death and a massive catalog up for grabs, who had the most to gain? This claim raises eyebrows and stirs up serious questions. Was there a strategic move behind the scenes? Did Jay-Z and Clive Davis really find a way to capitalize on a tragedy? Or is this just another wild industry tale? Let's find out. Prince, known for his fierce independence and constant battle with record labels over ownership and control of his music, left a legacy worth millions. It turns out the lawyers were right after all. Some shocking, never-before-seen footage of Prince's M just dropped, and it's pointing fingers straight at Jay-Z and Diddy. Even Cat Williams mentioned this before.
He was helpful in mine in really all different types of ways, especially about the business, as far as being a black man that was rich in this business at 18 years old.
Not everyone knows this, but Cat Williams and Prince were tighter than your average singer-comedian duo. Cat has brought up Prince more than once, including during his chat on Shannon Sharp's club Shay Shay. Williams talked about how he and Prince connected over a lot of stuff, from lyrics to their shared love for cars and, of course, women.
Because we share certain things. Our connection was lyrics, musical lyrics, women, and cars.
Clive Davis is a highly influential figure in the music industry, renowned for his immense power and track record of success. He notably launched Arista Records, where he signed numerous major black acts, showcasing his talent for spotting musical potential. His roster of signed artists is impressive and includes Patti Smith, The Outlaws, Carmen, Exposé, Ace of Base, Air Supply, Dionne Warwick, Parker and Raydio, Aretha Franklin, and Alicia Keys. Davis also played a key role in giving Puff Daddy his start in establishing Bad Boy Records. However, his most significant success came from discovering and nurturing Whitney Houston's career.
By spending time with her when the picture was inescapable, there were 2 times. One live, where she came to my home, where we had a personal...
Astounded by Houston's exceptional singing talent and her wholesome image, Clive recognized the opportunity to launch her into superstardom. This move not only greatly benefited Whitney, but also significantly boosted Clive Davis's net worth, reportedly reaching close to $800 million. However, as Whitney Houston navigated the complexities of the music industry, she, like many others, began to notice peculiar and unsettling occurrences. In her 2002 interview with Diane Sawyer, she openly addressed the challenges she faced and the personal struggles she battled, shedding light on the darker aspects of the industry. Whitney appeared uneasy and cautious at times, revealing that she felt a sense of inner conflict and acknowledged struggles with personal demons.
It was rough. I think I kind of reverted back as I got older and said, well, I'm just gonna party, you know? It was kind of a rebel in me.
During her interview, Whitney Houston discussed her disputes with Clive Davis and suggested a conspiracy against her, inadvertently making herself vulnerable. Exploiting her past struggles with addiction, individuals sought to undermine her credibility and discredit her revelations. And people suggest that he may have the same dome with Prince as well. Prince's revelations about Hollywood took a darker turn when he sadly passed away in an elevator. The circumstances surrounding his death in that elevator were especially eerie, as noted by Dave Chappelle. According to Chappelle, Prince was always upfront and expressed his views boldly, making him difficult to control. Looking at it from the outside, it appears that someone hard to rein in was taken out of the picture.
That he paid that kind of attention, and I think about that when I engage people, how these moments are just moments, but they mean so much.
The comedian memorably explained on Friday to Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon what it's like being featured on the cover of Prince's September 2013 single Breakfast Can Wait. That's a Prince judo move right there. You make fun of Prince in a sketch and he'll just use you in his album cover, the comedian quipped. What am I going to do? Sue him for using a picture of me dressed up like him? That's checkmate right there. Prince, the legendary artist, passed away at 57, found unresponsive in his Minnesota estate. The official word was an accidental fentanyl overdose from counterfeit Vicodin laced with a strong synthetic opioid. But let's be real, that explanation left a lot of us with lingering questions that still haven't been answered. With Shannon displaying his fanboy admiration for Prince's unparalleled talents, his mastery of multiple instruments, his mesmerizing performances encompassing singing and dancing, Kat simply nods along, affirming that Prince was indeed in a league of his own. He goes further, hinting at the depth of their bond by suggesting he knew Prince his entire life. Kat spills the beans on their profound connection, sharing glimpses of their discussions on everything from lyrics and music to women and cars. Yes, apparently, Prince's car collection is not just about vehicles. It's intertwined with stories, and Kat Williams is part of that narrative. They were in sync on the essentials: musical genius, appreciation for the ladies, and naturally, a love for those sweet rides. Kat even hints at how they supported each other through various challenges, especially in navigating the harsh realities of the music business.
Because we share certain things. Our connection was lyrics, musical lyrics, women, and cars.
So when Kat Williams hints that he knows the real story behind Prince's departure, it's not just some random speculation. He's someone who was there, who shared more than a few laughs with the Purple One. In a 2022 interview with Arsenio Hall, Kat revealed how Prince inspired him, spending 5 cool years as a rapper before switching to comedy. It all started after a meetup with Prince at the tender age of 12 in Dayton, Ohio, where Prince was performing at the University of Dayton Arena. According to Kat, this encounter marked the beginning of a lifelong connection, with Prince serving as a guiding force. He even credits the legendary singer for boosting his self-esteem, attributing his confident swagger to Prince's influence.
I met Prince when I was 12.
Where did you meet Prince when you were 12?
In Dayton. After he performed at UD Arena. Yeah, I mean, I knew him my whole life.
In his trademark style, Kat drops some wisdom about Prince being a high thinker, always steps ahead of the curve. While we all know Prince was a musical genius, playing more instruments than most of us can name, here's the kicker. Kat suggests that Prince also imparted lessons about embracing one's uniqueness.
But he let me know that you could be short and light-skinned with long hair, and people could make fun of you, but as long as women loved you.
Some fans are connecting the dots between Kat's statement about Prince always being 30 steps ahead and the cryptic remarks Prince made before his passing. They're piecing together theories suggesting that maybe Kat knew something Prince did, something sinister. There's speculation swirling around, hinting at potential plots against Prince. You know how Prince was notorious for dropping cryptic lines, and some believe he might have confided in Kat. Let's delve deep into the rabbit hole of theories surrounding Prince's death, because some individuals out there believe the official reports are nothing but a pile of lies. Prince's insights into Hollywood took on a more ominous tone when he tragically passed away in an elevator. The circumstances surrounding his death in an elevator were particularly eerie, especially given Prince's known apprehensions about elevators. As depicted in a video from E.T., Prince's friend L.A. Reid discussed the unsettling discovery of Prince's lifeless body in an elevator. According to Reid, Prince had a strange fear of elevators, which makes his passing in one seem even more suspicious.
One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?" No. I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil."
According to E.T., Louisiana, Reid shared Prince's aversion to elevators. Prince believed elevators were sinister, often referring to them as instruments of the devil. This perspective was encapsulated in his 1984 song, Let's Go Crazy. In the song's lyrics, Prince likened elevators to malevolent forces trying to bring a person down. He sang about the struggle to ascend by pressing a higher floor button, symbolizing his defiance against the negative influence he associated with elevators. He sings, "And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy. Punch a higher floor if you don't like the world you're living in. Take a look around you, at least you got friends. You see, I called my old lady. for a friendly word. She picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor. Is all I heard. Are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go. Reid recounted a conversation he had with Prince about his feelings on elevators. This discussion left Reid uncomfortable as it delved into the topic of the devil, something he was uneasy discussing. The news of Prince's lifeless discovery in an elevator on the first floor of Paisley Park, his residence and studio, deeply perturbed Reid, given the context of their previous conversation. Reid recalled, "One time when I was with him privately, he said, 'You know what the elevator is, right?' I said, 'No. What's the elevator?' He said, 'Well, the elevator is the devil.' It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. So for me, it was really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator." This triggered public speculation, as many believe it might connect to him being outspoken against the industry. Prince undeniably stands as one of the most influential musicians in history, with a remarkable career spanning more than 4 decades. His legendary status in the music industry is underscored by the extraordinary achievement of selling over 100 million records worldwide, a distinction attained by only a select few. Prince's global influence is immeasurable, and although he is primarily celebrated for his music, he also made significant forays into the realm of film.
It's in bloom. Animals strike curious poses.
When we think of Prince, we envision a versatile genius, skilled at composing, producing, mastering various musical instruments, and possessing dance moves that rivaled even his backing performers. Elevating Prince to the forefront of our consciousness, we unmistakably associate him with sensuality, evident through his overtly provocative style. His music becomes synonymous with intimate, bedroom-friendly melodies, and we perceive the man, in his own renowned words, as an individual of immense allure and magnetism.
Mainly, I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration.
Amid the undeniable sensuality prevalent in Prince's music and persona, we also uncover another facet that historically clashes with religious beliefs, particularly those of the Catholic Church. The complex interplay between sensuality and religion has been a source of tension, with topics like often considered taboo in certain religious contexts.
Yeah, sexuality is not bad. I'm talking about sexuality is very spiritual in nature. And that's a God-given gift, too.
Despite his undeniable sensuality, Prince maintained an unwavering faith in God. "I like to believe my inspiration comes from God. I've always known God is my creator. Without him, nothing works," he once affirmed. Prince's faith may have been deeply rooted in his early life, which was marked by a miraculous event. He was born epileptic, yet miraculously his condition was cured. As a child, Prince reportedly confided in his mother, suggesting that an angel had foretold his healing, though Prince himself has occasionally expressed uncertainty about recalling this specific conversation with his mother.
My mother told me one day I walked into her and said, "Mom, I'm not going to be sick anymore." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Because an angel told me so."
Prince was initially raised as a Seventh-day Adventist, but later embraced the faith of Jehovah's Witnesses. Both of these religions, sometimes considered to be on the fringes of mainstream Christianity. Nevertheless, Prince's unwavering belief in God remains undeniable, particularly when we delve into the themes present in his music. One particular track where Prince's faith in Christ is evident is the opener of 1984's Purple Rain, which begins with the sermon-like line, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life," accompanied by a funeral procession-esque organ solo. In 1997, Prince disclosed that the track served as a metaphor symbolizing the conflict between Christ and Satan. However, it was presented as a metaphor rather than a direct and overt reference to his faith. This approach was likely due to radio stations' reluctance to promote songs with explicit religious themes. As I wrote it, Let's Go Crazy was about God and the de-elevation of sin, Prince said. But the problem was that religion as a subject is taboo in pop music. People think that the records they release have got to be hip, but what I need to do is to tell the truth. I had to change those words up, but the elevator was Satan. I had to change the words up because you couldn't say God on the radio. And Let's Go Crazy was God to me. It was stay happy, stay focused, and you can beat the elevator. Are we going to let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go. Prince ingeniously navigated the radio censorship restrictions to convey his pastor-like wisdom on the transformative role God can play in our lives when embraced. Notably, the track re-entered the Billboard Hot 100 charts after Prince's untimely death in 2016, surging as high as number 26 just 3 weeks following his passing.
Things like that is kind of like a black hole, and it's hard to audit, it's hard to get accounting, and it's not that it's just about the money.
While much of our initial conceptions of Prince may seem at odds with religion, given the overt sensuality in his music, it's evident that Prince found solace in God, which in many ways eases the pain of his sad and early departure from this life. In Let's Go Crazy, the Revenant Prince proclaims, "I'm here to tell you there's something else, the afterworld, a world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun, day or night." Undoubtedly, Prince's influence left a profound impact on many, including Eddie Murphy, who openly acknowledged this connection. In a revealing interview, Eddie Murphy recounted a surreal experience he once shared with the late music icon Prince at the musician's residence.
It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're at his house, and Prince goes, "Who wants to go roller skating?" He was like, "What?" And we went to this roller rink at like 3 in the morning.
Eddie Murphy mentioned that Prince had skates that would light up as he skated, similar to the way some sneakers light up when you walk. And according to him, it was a magical moment. He said, "You know how some sneakers, when you walk, they would light up? He had skates that when he skated, they would light up." Fallon responded, "That's bizarre," to which Murphy replied, "It was surreal." However, there were some people who criticized Prince for the references to Satan in his songs. Sinead O'Connor alleged that Prince was involved in devil business and recounted an incident where she perceived him as being violent during a pillow fight. The singer, age 54, stated that she was called to the late music icon's residence for a meeting in 1991, shortly after achieving global success with her cover of his song, "Nothing Compares to You." In her new memoir, Rememberings, she claimed that the irises of Prince's eyes vanished as he stood at the front door of his Hollywood property, leading her to fear that he might be deeply involved in the occult.
Yeah, I think I was very young. I wasn't ready for the type of success, in inverted commas, that happened. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really setting out to be a pop star.
Further discussing the moment in an interview with The Times, she said, "That is as true as God. I believe he was involved in devil business because an old girlfriend of his told me he had the power to make objects move around the room. He got me up there to see, could this person be one of mine? I guess he didn't bank on the Irish in me telling him to go himself." Sinead, who in the 1990s received ordination as a priest from Bishop Michael Cox of the Irish Orthodox Catholic and Apostolic Church and currently practices as a Muslim, has also detailed in her book a distressing encounter with Prince. She asserted that he struck her with an object concealed within a pillowcase during a pillow fight and described instances of him allegedly stalking her with his car and chasing her down the road after escaping from what she described as a macabre mansion.
But it's very hopeful, isn't it? He obviously intends to get her back.
Yes.
He's getting her back because she's coming home.
The Irish singer has stated that there were multiple factors contributing to Prince's violent behavior during their meeting. Prince, who passed away in 2016 at the age of 57, is no longer able to comment on these allegations. Sinead explained, "Firstly, Prince didn't like people covering his songs. Secondly, he had all these female proteges, and he was annoyed that I wasn't one of them. Moreover, Sinead has also characterized Prince as a violent A of women and alleged that he terrorized and physically A her during her visit to his Hollywood mansion in the 1990s. These claims were also featured in her memoir, which was previewed in a New York Times profile, a publication that occurred 4 years after Prince's unfortunate death from a drug overdose. She writes that Prince summoned her to his macabre Hollywood mansion, chastised her for swearing in interviews, harangued his butler to serve her soup, though she repeatedly refused it, and sweetly suggested a pillow fight, only to thump her with something hard he'd slipped into his pillowcase. The Times reported. When she escaped on foot in the middle of the night, she writes, he stalked her with his car, leapt out, and chased her around the highway. In her own words, Sinead wrote, "You've got to be crazy to be a musician, but there's a difference between being crazy and being a violent A of women." However, the massive public was always on Prince's side, and they never seemed to be lingered by Sinead's narrative. One of his fans wrote, "The industry has off artists for a long time now. MJ, Prince, Whitney, etc. When you no longer want to play by their rules, this is your end, or they will destroy you in front of millions. This industry is very evil. Another fan wrote, "It's heartbreaking to think of such an icon being in a position of helplessness, knowing they were coming for him, and everyone around him was wicked. Soon as he got ownership, BCK from his music, they killed him." One other fan penned his emotions as before he died, I watched him in an interview where he said that G. Washington was not the first U.S. president, that there was 8 other presidents before him, and like he said, "I don't know about you, but I get a bit pissed off when people lie to me. Yeah, I get pissed too." His untimely demise really left the audience in shock and many questions unanswered, in addition to the official conspiracy theories surrounding Prince's death, such as TMZ's suggestion of a drug overdose and the National Enquirer's mention of AIDS. The internet has given rise to various speculations about the circumstances of the musical genius's passing. Some even pointed out curious connections like The Simpsons supposedly predicting Prince's death.
Like Prince playing second fiddle to Michael Jackson, and perhaps that had something to do with the fact that the episode never got made.
In the 19th Treehouse of Horror episode of The Simpsons, there's a segment where Homer Simpson offends a bunch of celebs, including Prince, using his iconic guitar shape. Some folks have gone down the conspiracy rabbit hole, saying this is evidence that The Simpsons had some crystal ball action going on, predicting Prince's death years before it happened. And yep, you guessed it, the Illuminati got dragged into these wild speculations too.
Oh, psycho killer,
Fans have also speculated that Prince may have been responsible for his own demise. One fan commented, "I grew up a Prince fan but stopped listening to him years before he died. There were so many things I found out that made me never want to praise an entertainer again. They're all paid to entertain and keep you blind to the truth. Hollywood is evil wood, the devil's playground. He was a big player in his own death." Adding to the intrigue, there's a fascinating story about Prince shelving an album due to a negative experience with ecstasy. His Black album was supposed to drop in 1987, but right before its release, he pulled the plug. Insiders suggested that Prince thought releasing it would have a malevolent influence, expressing that he couldn't unleash it on the world. The album eventually saw the light of day in 1994.
all the girls and all the boys, get close, have no fear.
And reportedly, Kat did not delay in connecting it with Jay-Z. He persistently voiced his apprehensions about an unjust system, challenging the established norms. In his unyielding journey, he managed to carve out a distinct place for himself in the industry. Notably, he unveiled a facet that adds to Jay-Z's current authority and sway, a connection with numerology that largely contributes to his pervasive power. According to Kanye, Jay-Z has shown significant interest in the occult and have been linked to human sacrifices in the past. Kanye West's close bond with them was once considered among Hollywood's strongest connections. Their friendship seemed genuine, leading us to believe it would last indefinitely. However, this perception was shattered. Kanye's words were direct. He asserted that not only his mother, but also others had been sacrificed. And yet a veil of silence shrouds this alleged dark group. Those who resist control reportedly experience trauma or disappear. Known for his candid expressions, Kanye remains unafraid to voice his thoughts, whether they pertain to anti-Semitism or uncovering instances of human sacrifices. In addition, Kanye asserted his immunity to control by Hollywood's higher-ups due to his lack of involvement in any harmful acts. However, he proceeded to outline a roster of individuals who could be influenced, prompting us to infer that he might be alluding to those associated with the Illuminati and who have a history of causing harm to innocent lives. It appears increasingly clear that Prince was not overly preoccupied with the workings of the physical world or what would transpire after his transcendence. Perhaps he had a deep-seated confidence that his legacy was firmly established through his life's accomplishments, and he was content to leave the unfolding of events to fate as he embarked on his journey to the great beyond. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.